one. This is one of the funnest episodes of the year. Honestly, we got to talk a lot about comic books, comics, different characters, many other stuff with our good friend Miles.
The Mighty
Boys,
Miles.
anyone wants to mention
The
Mighty
Mighty
Miles? That's
Miles.
right.
And also we went into a deep dive on an original concept for a new character. We
By
won't
Miles
share any more
himself.
details. You got to watch the episode to find out.
Tune
Mind
in, tune
blowing.
in.
So good.
Watch it, enjoy, like, subscribe, share, all that shit. See you. Just like that, it's another day, another episode. We are
Episode
3-0.
313 of A to the Show. Wow,
13
we're
of 18
around the
show.
show.
Check it out.
And now,
Now
we're in Baltimore,
in
Maryland.
Ellie's birthplace. Yeah, Baltimore, Maryland. Maryland. How do you say it? Wait, it's Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland.
There we
No,
go.
it's just
And
Baltimore is a city.
whatever it is, we are joined by Saeed and Miles. Miles, welcome on the show.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude, thank you for coming, honestly. So go ahead and let the world know who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, my name is Miles. Some people call me the Mighty Miles because of my my Instagram page. 99% of what I post is pretty much whatever I want in regards to Marvel, DC, film, video games, nostalgia, anything. I started the page all the way back in, God, I think it was like 2015, I believe. And I've gone through so many like name changes and different pages that, you know, it was hard to settle which one. So I created the Mighty Miles because the name rhymes with Mighty. And yeah, I just started posting from there. I post news and nostalgia clips, all that. And I'm currently at, yeah.
So wait, let me ask you this: what was your first username?
Oh God,
first one you used. I actually want to know.
Oh God, my first name. Oh God, it sucks. My first name was The Real Geek God.
I mean, that's not too bad. The Real Geek God, because it's honestly what we all are here today. We're a bunch of geeks who are into that kind of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yeah.
So
let's get right into the tough questions. Let's get right into the tough questions here. All right.
Go ahead.
So there are a bunch of now in the DC Marvel realm. There's a bunch of remakes happening. They're remaking a bunch of the old characters, and they're doing it differently, right? Like Batman, Superman, all these characters. What do you think about all these changes? Do you think do you like that they're rehashing the same characters, or do you want them to create new characters?
You know, it's hard to say what they can and can't do, because at the end of the day, it's Warner Brothers. You know, they're unpredictable. One day they'll announce a Superman film, and then the next day they'll be like, hey, you know what? Forget the Superman film. We're going to do a film based on Solomon Grundy. And everyone will be like, okay. But in terms of but am I wrong?
Right.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that's confusing. No. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like the idea of them remaking so many characters, it sounds good written on
paper.
Is it internet cut?
When it gets difficult. You know, the Black Superman movie, as an African American man, okay, great, absolutely. You know, because there's 2 Black Superman, well, 3 in the comics. So I'm like, okay, they can totally do this. Why not? It's the multiverse after all. And then when they said something like, oh, we're going to turn Clark Kent black, and I'm like, why would you do that when there's 3 Black Supermen you can use?
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. So it's a different Superman, right? Like someone else.
We talked about this on our Wise Guys episode. We kind of got into that. Right. Remember when we said? So we like most of us kind of said the same thing as if they go into the perspective of the multiverse and put a Black Superman, completely fine. Makes total sense. Happened before, and it's okay. Right. But to rechange the whole story of the original, like Clark Kent turning black, like it's just like it kind of seems forced, right?
What's the difference if it's just Superman? Yeah.
The whole backstory. Black Superman's backstory isn't the same as Clark Kent, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. It's completely different. It's not. They're completely different stories based on which version you're counting on. Because you have the Calvin Ellis, who is the Superman, but is also the president of the United States. and then you have Balazar. Yeah,
Wait, that's an actual character.
Yeah, it's an actual character.
We should get that guy. And you Superman.
Oh my God, the president! Imagine Donald Trump being a Superman.
Joe Biden, man. Like Joe, as Superman, right?
Yeah.
Imagine the ruler. Yeah, the ruler of the strongest military in the world is Superman as well. I mean, what more? How much more power could you need?
It's crazy. It really is crazy. But yeah, actually, Calvin Ellis. I think that was in Earth 22, 20.
It was Earth 2, and that was where with like I believe it was the Crime Syndicate. I think I might get some crap from hardcore comic lovers. But
listen, hey, don't listen. We're not as hardcore as you guys. Don't quote us on anything. We're just here to share our love for the whole scene, right? But
what's wrong with having a different version of Clark Kent? I mean, why is that such a bad thing? I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a new Clark Kent, I guess.
Like they did Batman over and over again, right?
You know, and I think it's been years since we've actually gotten like a solo Superman movie, because the last film with just Superman by himself was back in 2013.
Man of Steel.
You know? Yeah. And now currently we're at Superman and Lois, great show on the CW, shockingly. It's hard to believe that's a CW show. Seriously.
Right, yeah.
And it's just like that's currently the modern piece of like modern Superman content that we have. You know? Yeah. And like I said, don't get me wrong. I would love to see a person of color who's also Superman, you know. But the thing about it is when you're changing the origin of the original character so that it can fit into the real world, something about that didn't seem right. It's a good idea written on paper, but when you try to do it, it doesn't seem like it could work, you know. And that's what I think the problem is.
Isn't this like considered evolution of the character's bio, maybe, or like more to make him seem more relevant to the current times?
Yeah. You know, okay. And you know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, yeah.
It's
I guess
to reflect, but they could do a different character as opposed to redoing the same character.
Right.
Yeah. For me, I'd rather they just go into the Calvin Ellis storyline. It seems much more fun and like very, very like deep. I remember his backstory is also very cool, right? But in terms of general representation in comic books, how do you feel about the whole situation? Do you feel like it's forced by any way, or do you feel like they're doing it smoothly, or what's your whole take on that scene?
It's so hard to say, you know, what's forced and like what's not forced anymore, because when you have a comic book movie that has a diverse cast of characters, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, and they're all one group, people will be like, you know what? Why are they making such a big deal about race? You know, they're forcing diversity. But to other people, they'll be like, well, you know, there's so many different people of color and cultures out there that haven't experienced like the big screen superhero treatment. Like Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes, for example. He's getting a movie finally. And, you know, that's the first major DC character who's Hispanic to headline a movie.
Oh, wow.
You know, to some people in the Hispanic community, that's a big deal. You know, I'm not Hispanic, but I'm excited for it. I love Blue Beetle. I love Jaime Reyes. So it's nice to see that people of different diversities getting like their own comic book film. But in terms of like forced diversity, it's hard to say what's forced and what's not forced, at least to me.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that point. For example, we're talking about the origin stories of these characters, but the origin stories come from the comics. So what if the movies are basically creating new versions of the origin stories? So instead of the origin coming from the source is not the comic books, maybe the source is from the movies that's being created. So for example, like the Snyderverse, that's not necessarily something from the comics. It's from Jack Snyder. So Zack Snyder.
Jack Black.
One letter.
Wait,
so yeah, like the movies become basically the source.
Is the Snyderverse from comics, or is it just completely originally Zack Snyder?
I think it's loosely based on the comics. No,
because Batman kills, and I thought that was the thing that was taken from somewhere.
Yeah. Wait. Batman kills?
in
I
the
believe
movies,
Batman did kill in a comic. I can't remember what comic, but I do believe that there was one where he was like not a murderer, but he killed people. I can't remember which comic it was.
It wasn't people.
It was
The Last Laugh, was it? Or Death of Joker. It was one of those where in the comics you get this very old Bruce Wayne Batman fighting this very old Joker, right, in a love tunnel, and basically he just...
I've seen that. It's an animated movie.
It was called I think it was called The Dark Knight Returns or Endgame. Not the Avengers movie.
Not the Avengers movie.
Batman randomly having Batman holding Thor's hammer.
that I feel like that was huge that they made Batman kill, though, that Zack Snyder did that, because I feel like I've always imagined
everything
Batman,
we've believed in, right?
Exactly. I don't know. What do you think about that, Myles? Yeah.
Everything he fights for.
I like Batman as a character. I've pretty much grown up with like everything Batman related, from like the Dark Knight trilogy, the Batman animated series, the underrated one.
Yes. Yes, it's so good. Yes, it's so good. Every episode's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. I never liked the idea of like Batman killing, because every adaptation I've seen, like I've watched, he never killed. So I'm like, okay, Batman doesn't kill. That's cool. And
the Killing Joke.
The Killing Joke.
Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, the Killing Joke. Yeah, that's the one. But keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah. Batman killing. Like I said, I grew up watching a character who never killed. So in my eyes, I'm like, okay, Batman doesn't kill. He's a character that doesn't kill. And when people like to argue, say, oh yeah, Batman should kill, he can't kill, I'm like, I'm not a hardcore Batman fan, so I can't give my opinion. I say if he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
But there are like 15 moments or 15 times Batman in comic or in game has killed, right? Like,
is that what the website says?
Yeah, that's what the website says. There's 15 times that Batman has killed, right? And that's how I found the Killing Joke. So
yeah, it's interesting.
It just shows you how, I kind of like it, because Batman's whole motive is he's against killing. He'd rather send them to jail, where they do their time. But it shows you how imperfect he is, whether he does it by accident or whether he's just had enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. Whereas in the Marvel universe, I feel like they're a bit too perfect, I would say. In a sense of, because they don't set that rule for themselves where they don't kill, period, right?
Right.
Whereas in Batman, it's more defined. Like, he always tells the present or the current Robin, no killing, right? Even Damian Wayne, when Damian Wayne first takes up the mantle of Robin, he's addicted to killing people because of his granddad, and the Batman's just like, hey, no killing, right? But it's good how sometimes, people go against their words.
I think Batman's supposed to be greater than that. I don't know. I feel like he's a superhero. That's why he's not just a regular guy.
And try dealing with the Joker for like 100 years. See how you get fed up and you kill the fucker by the fourth try. But yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. There is a huge trend like trying to make superheroes less perfect, or like kill people, or like Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know how I feel about that, because I always imagine superheroes to be like perfect and the coolest superheroes.
I have a tough question. This is gonna be a deep rabbit hole. I was very conflicted to whether I should ask you this or not. But here we go. Marvel versus DC. Oof. Marvel versus DC. If you had to choose one, which one would it be, and why? See, I know it's a hard question because I got asked this before and it was tough, right? But yeah.
Like I said, realistically, I'm a fan of both. I've always started a Marvel versus DC war, and like I said, both are good. They both have their flaws. They both make good stuff. They both make crappy stuff. But I guess at the end of the day, I guess I'm more of a Marvel person, because I mainly grew up a lot with Marvel, whether it be like the MCU or like the TV shows. I was more versed with Marvel than I ever was with DC, considering the fact that DC has a lot of the best characters. So does Marvel. So I guess at the end of the day, I'm a Marvel fanboy. But like I said, both are good, but I guess I'm more of a Marvel fanboy at the end of the day.
Right.
Great answer.
I like
What
that.
about
Yeah, I
what
expected
about
us
you,
to go
Ali?
even more.
Yeah.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a DC guy. Not the
Ooh.
movies. In terms of comics. In terms of comics, I love DC. Their whole story, the way they portray the characters, their darker aspects in life, and everything. Right? It feels more. You feel more in touch with them. But in terms of cinematic universe, it has to be Marvel.
Yeah,
Has to be
Marvel
Has to
was
be.
amazing.
Yeah.
Marvel was amazing. Yeah,
The whole
I
setup
find-
from Iron Man 1 until Endgame, the whole setup
it's
was
genius.
just
Yeah,
flawless.
flawless.
Was
Literally,
flawless, yeah.
I don't know how they did that. I really don't know how they did that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What about you, Ali? Where do you stand on the scheme of things?
In video games, I pick DC because Arkham
You
series
play Injustice.
is the best thing, and Injustice is the best thing.
It is. They're
Marvel
very good games.
has the Spider-Man, and I don't know about the Avengers games.
Yeah.
No, Spider-Man PS4 was the last good Marvel game that ever came out. Hot
It was
take.
probably the
I love-
only ever good Marvel game that ever. Let's be real here. Let's be
Yeah, but
honest here. Come
if
on.
you really want to think about it, you can write off Spider-Man as like as a solo, not DC, not Marvel, because he was originally created by Sony. So we could say, like you can if you're saying what's it called, Marvel versus DC. For me, I'd say
I
DC.
pick Spider-Man.
DC and Spider.
I can't, yes, but no, I'd pick DC and then Spider-Man, as like the sidekick or some shit like that.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, that's where I stand on the whole scheme of things. Honestly, like it's crazy. So, here's a question I actually want to know. Do you have a favorite character of all time?
Literally, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Literally, I was
Like,
gonna
do you
ask the exact same
appreciate
thing.
every character
Yeah.
as they are?
I have a favorite character, but he's not Marvel and he's not DC.
Ooh.
Spider-Man.
No, my favorite character is Spawn.
Spawn.
hmm
Dude, didn't Spawn have a movie?
Yeah, he did. Underrated one. Many people don't like to acknowledge it, but technically, Spawn was the first superhero movie to feature an African American actor in the lead, before even Blade. To be honest,
Wow.
that's something a lot of people don't want to talk about or don't even know. But I know the truth.
Right. I hold the truth. So
Myles
so why-
declassifying the classified files, bro.
So other than what you've mentioned about him being the first and all that stuff, what makes Spawn, of all the thousands and millions of characters Marvel and DC and others have come out with, why Spawn?
So like it's kind of crazy because I'm into the more weirder, surreal characters of like different universes. So when I first saw the movie Spawn and I saw like a black guy playing him, I was like, wait a minute, there's a black dude playing a guy who's summoning the devil from hell. The idea behind that is surreal. And then I looked up some more of his history and some of his characters, and I was like, this dude is actually a badass. Spawn is a badass.
Right.
So I actually read some of his comics. There's too many to even count. So I just read like the original run by Todd McFarlane. And I was like, Spawn is actually a very tragic character. He worked for the CIA. He got killed by his people. He was summoned to hell. He's got a fat clown chasing him. Yeah. John Leguizamo actually played him in the movie. Shockingly. Yeah, I know.
We gotta watch that. Yeah.
I know.
We'll have to watch that.
Spawn has always been like one of those characters who I'm like, you know what? He's not good. He's not evil. He's one of those characters that I can't relate to because he's a spawn from hell, so I can't relate to that.
His other alias is literally like Hellspawn, right?
Yeah.
Literally.
And like
Yeah.
the lore and history behind him is actually really interesting. So Spawn is he's number one behind Spider-Man. I'm sorry, in front of Spider-Man. So Spawn is probably one of my favorite comic book characters. I don't talk about it a lot because everyone's like, why Spawn? Spawn's boring. And I'm like, no, read his comic history. He's actually a very like powerful character. He crossed over with Batman. Like, come on.
No, not a lot of people get that. True. Speaking of crossover with Batman, did any of you watch the TMNT crossover with Batman?
I did, and it sucked.
Oh my god, that was the most dumb shit I've ever seen. Ali, you've never watched that?
Yeah, I
Dude,
haven't
they did
either.
a TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja
I
Turtles.
want to watch it. I want to watch it.
It sounds good,
I want to
but
watch it.
it's terrible. It's like very bad.
What happens?
But yeah,
Like, what happens in the episode?
I honestly don't remember what happens because it was just so bad. But I remember at TMNT they did. What was it? And again, Batman was like, "Don't kill." I remember that. That
To
one
the
scene,
TMNT,
like, hey.
they don't even kill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
How do you
Yeah,
not kill when you wield a sword?
that is true.
What?
And the crazy thing, I saw the animated movie. The funny thing about it is that we're supposed to believe that Batman and the Ninja Turtles take place in the same universe, and I'm like, wait, what? So I'm like, if that's the case, does the Justice League know about him? And how did Batman not know about him? You're supposed to be the world's greatest detective, and you never heard of talking turtles wielding ninja gear? What?
Living under the sewers, you know.
And then they find out the real Ra's al Ghul is their master. What's it called? I forgot his name.
Splinter?
Yes,
No,
Master Splinter.
Splinter or Shredder?
No, Shredder's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So what crossovers would you want to see? If there was a crossover to come, if you could sum it up.
Crossovers. I have so many on my list.
Because I think Deadpool and Wolverine, right? I think is a great crossover.
Oh my god!
Deadpool and Wolverine has to happen ASAP.
Please, Deadpool 3,
Hugh Jackman, right?
Hugh Jackman has been teasing it a lot. No, not a lot. He teased it on his Instagram a couple days ago, and I posted it, and everyone was like, "So is he coming back for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness?" I'd be like, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't.
I wouldn't too, honestly.
That would be awesome.
Holy shit!
That would be very cool. I honestly want that to happen because Wolverine and Deadpool, even when you look at the animated series or you look at any of that stuff, right? They're like, it's the funniest shit you'll ever see, regardless of the rating, right?
Yes.
Regardless of everything, it's just purely funny. But
another thing they should do, and I've mentioned it before, Spider-Man and Deadpool. Definitely should do that partnership.
Spider-Man and Deadpool is a good one. Yeah, true. True. But they are doing a crossover now. What is it? As Guardians of the Galaxy. Is that still a thing?
Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be crossing over into Thor: Love and Thunder. Star-Lord, Nebula, Groot, Rocket, and Kraglin.
Dude, that's crazy. And it's literally called As Guardians of the Galaxy. You know how awesome this is going to be? Who was the guy who directed Thor Ragnarok?
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, I want him to direct it. I want him to direct it because Thor Ragnarok was the funniest Thor I've ever watched. And arguably,
this is a controversial. No, not controversial. It's a hot take. Thor Ragnarok is the only good Thor movie.
Yes, I agree.
It is.
I
the first
agree
two
too.
Thors.
Dark World. What the fuck was that? Right. The first one is understandable, right? It's the first Thor movie. But what the fuck was Dark World? Like, what was going on there?
I literally don't recall anything. But the third one.
I'm ashamed to say that I spent $20 to see that movie in 3D on opening weekend.
Yeah, that was a pretty upsetting movie too. Right?
It was.
And what's sadder, I spent $15 to see Fan 4 Stick on its opening weekend.
You know what's worse than that? I watched it on a plane ride. I forgot from where to where, but I was on a plane and I was like, "Oh, Thor! I never watched this movie. Let's watch it." I promise you, the first 30 minutes, and I was like, "Yep, we're watching Gravity again." And I literally pulled up Gravity, and I was like, "Nah, I can't watch this. This shit's too bad." But yeah, I want him to direct as Guardians of the Galaxy because I feel like it's just gonna be such a good movie that's gonna be timeless, honestly. Right? So speaking of timeless, what's the one movie from any of the cinematic universes that you can watch over and over and over again and you'll never get bored of it?
Oh man. Okay, so this one isn't a cinematic universe. It's its own self-contained universe.
Right.
It's actually very cliche. I could watch Spider-Man 2 over and over again and not get sick of it.
Wait, just so we're in the clear. Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Amazing.
Oh! yes, definitely, bro. Andrew Garfield for me.
I could watch the Amazing Spider-Man 2 over and over. I honestly can't get sick of it. I really can't. It's fun.
What about the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was great, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
But Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is a great movie. It's number 1 in my top 10 favorite films of all time. It's given me a lot of inspiration to create my own characters. But yeah, like Spider-Man 2 is goated. You know, can't get no better than that. I could watch that over and over, and like I'd be like amazed by it. Like the train scene, I'd be watching it 1,000 times, and I'd be like, wow.
Like yeah, they did that right. Even the whole details of the cut and the right that scene killed me, dude. I watched that scene again.
Like we don't talk about that.
Yeah,
that's so good. Yeah,
it was nice. Crazy though. Yeah, not bad. Honestly.
What are you? So now that you've watched all these superhero movies and done all this backstory, are you trying to make your own superhero story?
I am. I have. I've been working on a passion project of mine. It's. I don't want to get into too many details because I'm still working on it. But the title of the film, his name is Miles Green. It's a different type of superhero film. I wanted to do something different, so I was like, I want to do a character study of a lonely, depressed teenage black superhero in modern day, you know? And I wrote his origin. His origin story is tragic. Like his parents, like his origin story is tragic.
You almost did some spoilers there. What's wrong with his parents? What's wrong with his parents, Miles? What's wrong with his parents?
I can reveal. I can talk about it. I'm not going to make it for like years, but basically, his parents,
exclusive on A to the show. Let's go.
His parents were test subjects for this corporation called Help, and what they do at Help, they front themselves to be a research facility where they help people like with their diseases. Like they say, they cure cancer. They help people walk again if they're paralyzed, and secretly, they're making superhumans, but in the most messed up way possible.
Whoa.
And the way that they make them is that, all right, so this is a funny origin. 3,000 years ago, a meteorite crashed into Earth, and inside it contained an element. And that element, when you touched it, it gave you abilities. But when you get the abilities, it hurts when they like manifest into your body. You know, like say you grow like angel wings, it will hurt like a bitch when them things come out.
Damn.
And yeah, and what Help did, they took the meteorite and experimented on all these people. They kidnapped random people, whether it be teenage runaways, homeless people, or anyone, and they made test subjects. So that's when you got Miles' parents coming in. You know, they were young, they didn't have any money, and then Help came to them. They were like, if you come with us, we will make sure you have the perfect life, give you money and all that. All you have to do is be our test subjects. They didn't know what they were getting into. And when they're tested on, it's brutal. Like they are being tortured to get superhuman abilities, and they did. And all that changes when the mom gets pregnant with Miles. You know, and
with what?
That's when and that's when the parents find out what Help really is. They escape with 3 other people. They find a hideout, and they're trying to be safe from Help. Help is global. They're like a global corporation that knows everything. You know, they got eyes and ears everywhere. And yeah. So when the parents are hiding out with their friends, the mom's water breaks right when Help finds them. Yeah. This is when it gets messed up.
Yo, you wrote this.
I wrote this. This is an original concept that I took a lot of inspiration from Spider-Man 2 and Young Justice Season 2, like the storyline with Season 3 with metahuman trafficking. But so
it sounds a bit like Deadpool also.
It has some hints of Deadpool, the whole corporation and superhumans, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
that's genius. Like the way you've caught my full attention now. Keep going, honestly.
Yeah. Please.
Okay, so when the mom's water breaks, Help has their little private army. They got their weapons and all that. They can't stop them because they're superhumans. Dad has strength. You know, he's basically Mr. Incredible. The mom has fire powers, like the Human Torch. And when the two did their thing, they had a baby, Miles. And Help has been secretly working on something for a situation like this to happen. They created a superhuman with the power to steal other superhuman abilities just by touching them. He is overpowered. Like any ability you can think of, he's got it. So they send him in to get the parents' baby, Myles, and they want to take him because research shows that he's going to be the most powerful superhuman in the world, and he is. So they send him in. He fights all his friends, and it leads to the final standoff between the overpowered superhuman and the dad. They fight, they throw some punches. It's a brutal fight. And unfortunately, it ends with the bad guy stabbing the dad through the chest with a dagger he made from his hand. And the father's the father's main mission was to protect his wife and his son. But here's the thing, though. When the parents and their friends went to their little secret hideout, they had a plan B. If things got so bad, they would have to sacrifice themselves and everything that they cared about. Right. So the overpowered bad guy finds the mom. She's already given birth, but she's escaped. She asks both the two friends that went with them to protect our child, while she fends him off. And the mom uses all of her power to fend him off. Like, she is using everything that she has, to the point where she's like it hurts. And the plan B was that they blow the whole place up, sacrificing themselves. And unfortunately, the mom was murdered by the dude. Both the parents were murdered, but she set off the bomb right after she was killed. And, big explosion, everyone's presumed dead. The only people who didn't die was Myles and the parents' two friends. They escaped. But the two friends knew that help was going to come looking for them. They knew that, eventually they'll find them. So they moved to Washington, D.C. and gave them to an adoption center. As for our overpowered bad guy, he was in the explosion, but there was no body. There's no body, no evidence of where he is, what happened to him, none of that. So this incident caused Help to be shut down for a couple years. They'll be back. I have a full franchise plan for this. They'll be back. Yeah,
they'll be back.
I'm planning your franchise. But the Help Corporation shut down due to reconstruction. Reconstruction meaning they have to be smarter about what they do. So we flash back. So we pick up years later. Myles is 18. He's in school. He hasn't had the perfect life because he's been through so many adoption centers, so many families, and he feels like an outcast. That's what I wanted to focus on in this movie. It's a character study of a Black teenager who's he's trying to figure out who he is. Who am I? Where do I belong? How do I fit in to this crazy world? And this film is very grounded in reality. His powers haven't manifested yet. His powers are actually really cool. Laser vision, teleportation, strength, super senses. He can hear a lot of stuff, and that. But years later, it takes place in modern day. I wanted to focus on the mental health aspect of a Black superhero. That's something I feel as though hasn't been explored in anything yet. When we have a Black superhero film, I'm like, well, how come we can't explore the mental health side of this character? Let's know how he's feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Nick Fury. Yeah. I don't know anything about Nick Fury. I know a lot about him. He's a pretty cool guy, but I don't know anything in depth about what he's doing. They just make him look like a really cool guy.
Myles, I hope you don't mind me asking this, but does this character reflect in any way as to how you're feeling?
Bro, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. This is a character that feels like an outcast, feels like an outsider. He suffers from anxiety and depression, which is something that I wanted to explore within the mind of a Black superhero. I personally haven't experienced anything what he went through because this is an original character. But I wanted to focus on his mental health and how getting superpowers can affect that mindset, and the way he gets his powers is actually pretty nice. So he's at this house party at this kid threw from his school, and he's walking out, he's leaving, he sees a girl who was unfortunately drugged by these guys, and he sees that she's about to be assaulted by him. And at first he's like, I shouldn't get involved. That's not my business. But his heart is telling him, this is what I have to do. So he goes, he gets the girl, and he fights off, the guys who were going to do what they were going to do. And he gets his ass kicked like bad. But it's only then when his powers finally kicked in. Like he's like destroying not killing all of them. He's using his strength. Like he's using all of his powers that he got for the first time to like fend them all off. And the one thing that I noticed about when I was writing this, the things that he'll go through, the things that he will experience all started because he saved a life. Who would have thought him saving a life would have opened up the door for a world of superhumans? And, it's going to set off a whole bunch of chain of reactions.
Dude, I can't wait for this to be a thing.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for this to be
By the way,
I
have a question. How did you go into that? How did you analyze the part of him having anxiety and like place it into his act? Okay, so this guy is basically a superhuman. He's a superhuman being who has a lot of superpowers, and he has anxiety. Yeah. How are these two working together? It's like if you have an anxious superhero, bro, he can just blow up at any time. So
fuck up a lot. Yeah,
exactly. Right. Is that part of his story?
Yeah, that's a main part of his core storyline. He starts off being moody, depressed, being like, oh, I don't care about this, I don't care about that. But as we move forward into the future, he becomes more happier. He has two friends that I created, Jason and Michaela. Jason being a senior. They're all teenage seniors, so this takes place during their senior year. Jason is him and Myles will develop a brotherly friendship. They'll develop this this brotherhood, like, you got my back, I got you, I will fight for you any day. And he wants to be in the army, but I haven't worked out his main origin, but his story is he wants to be in the army because his father served, but his father died in battle, and he wants to carry on that legacy. The other character, Michaela, is he's going to be his girlfriend, but she'll turn into his wife sooner down the road. She's a computer analyst who, this is funny, she's a computer like whiz. She likes all this tech stuff. She wants to go to technical college, work for big corporations that work with computers and all that. And her and Myles, over the course of the film, they develop our friendship, but it will develop more into that.
Did she end up working for Help?
No.
Oh,
no. That would have been
that would have been a nice little twist there.
I compared this potential franchise to Harry Potter. We watch him grow up. Develop, mature. I actually have 6 movies planned for this. 6 movies.
Wow.
This
already.
Great, honestly, yeah. Maybe a bit of an Arab representation, like having Ali on one of yours.
Having Ali on.
And Ali or Saeed. Who knows? It could be but make him evil, please.
No, we don't want him evil.
Very Jafar-esque.
I don't want to give away anything, but there's going to be one film in the franchise called Miles Green Super Killer. And basically, it's a superhero murder mystery. You got a serial killing superhuman murderer out there, and Myles is gonna have to find out who it is. And not only that, I don't want to give away so much. That's the movie.
So much. Exclusive.
I do want to watch it. I do want to watch it. But it sounds like, you're getting our attention.
It is. It's really good. I can't wait for this.
It's good.
I can actually reveal the titles. The first film is called Miles Green, obviously. The second film is called MG2, Miles Green 2. But I was thinking about calling it The Superhuman Conspiracy.
Yes.
The Superhuman Conspiracy. Yeah. The third film is called Family Matters. Now, here's the thing about that. Myles was never told about who his parents truly are. The parents' 2 friends never revealed what happened to his parents. So that's mainly where his anger and frustration and mental health comes in. He's mainly upset because he doesn't know who his parents are, what happened to them. So that anger over not knowing where you come from will get inside of him. Yeah. And in the third film, Family Matters, it's I made a messed up storyline.
Dude,
Seriously.
honestly, I would love to hear it, but I really don't want to spoil it because this sounds really good, right? Like I want to watch the whole thing, honestly.
The third film is called Miles Green Family Matters. The fourth film, which I think is going to be my personal favorite, is called Battle for the Rock. Remember that meteorite I told you about? They gave the superhumans all their powers. It's a heist movie. Miles and like all of his associates have to try and steal it.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, from a billionaire who wants to like destroy it. But here's the plot twist: that meteorite is beaming off an energy that gives the superhumans in all of the world their abilities. If that rock is destroyed, they all die. So it's a life or death situation. Ooh. And to make it worse,
the rock has to stay alive to preserve all of these superhumans.
Exactly. If that rock is destroyed, it's not going to be good, even for Miles, because Miles can die from it, and the world kind of needs Miles for now.
Dude, this is crazy.
The fourth film, and to make it worse, they have to try to. A group of highly skilled professional thieves are going to do this exact same thing, so that makes things a little worse for him.
But why does the billionaire want to destroy it, though?
He feels as though the billionaire feels as though superhumans have become a plague in a world where we don't need them. You know, because this is the thing I wanted to touch upon. There are good superhumans and there are bad. Some want to get help. Some want to know, more about themselves. They just want to do whatever they want and destroy the world, and that causes problems. So the billionaire is like, you know what? I took inspiration from Baron Zemo. In the trailer for Falcon and Winter Soldier, he says superheroes should not be allowed to exist, and I put that mindset in the billionaire. He's saying superhumans don't need to exist. So if no one's going to do anything about it, maybe I will.
Wow.
And what's crazy? The billionaire used to work for Help. So some connection there.
Yeah.
The fifth film is called Miles Green Super Killer. Like I said, superhuman murder mystery. There's a plot twist that is messed up that I thought of. I was like, yeah, this is gonna get an R rating.
No spoilers.
This is gonna get an R rating. And the sixth film is the final film. It's called The Death of Miles Green Part 1 and Part 2. It's an epic conclusion to the entire Miles Green story, a conclusion to every character, all the story arcs, all that. And I'll say this. In Super Killer, he's going to be framed for all the murders, but I can't reveal who the murderer is. So he goes on the run, and the killer, I can tell you this. Remember the overpowered bad guy who killed his parents?
Yeah.
Is he the killer?
Died. Yeah. Turns out he was affected by the blast that killed them all, but he never died. A body was found by someone who worked for Help. She took the body, used all of Help's resources to slowly bring him back to life. He's the Thanos of the Miles Green universe, And Miles is going to meet his parents despite them dying. There's a character I created for the second film who is extremely powerful. She has the ability to open up portals to different time periods. She gets a glimpse into a future. Everything is crap. Everything is destroyed, post-apocalyptic. So she learns about it, and she's like, I got to find Miles's parents and grandchildren and children. She finds the parents, finds his children, goes to the present. The events of death of Miles Green kick off. Obviously it's going to end with a sacrifice. Miles will make the ultimate sacrifice. Everything that he's been through, from a lonely, teenager to well-known hero around the world, will all lead to that. And the thing about it is that I don't want to affect his storyline. So the first two movies, Miles is going to keep his identity secret. He's got actually a pretty dope costume that a friend of mine drew for me. Shout out to him if he watches this.
Name drop. What's his name?
I can't say Kenyatta Harriet. I think I said it wrong.
Shout out.
I apologize if I said it wrong.
Shout out to him, honestly.
Yeah, shout out to him. He makes some dope drawings. I asked him to create a drawing for me, and he looks amazing. His name is Miles Green, so obviously he's going to have some green in his outfit. It's a modern outfit. And, for the first two films, he wants to keep his identity secret. He doesn't like the idea of being a well-known hero. He doesn't like the idea of being someone who everyone has to rely on. He doesn't like that. He wants to stay low-key. But it's in the third movie where he has to put all that on the line when he discovers the dark truth about his so-called family. that he's gonna meet.
Family matters.
Yeah, family matters.
Damn,
And the third, and like I said, the third film is basically him, his so-called grandfather and his cousins are gonna meet him, and someone's trying to kill him, so Myles is gonna protect him. Unfortunately, Myles is gonna learn the dark truth about how his parents got to help and how his grandfather is responsible for all of it. And the final battle, I took some inspiration from the final battle from the first Spider-Man movie. Myles is gonna get his ass kicked.
Sort of like Invincible, right? No spoilers here,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you watched Invincible, but like the last episodes.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that he's not finding his dad. He's finding
that spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, right?
Yeah. It's a whole family. It's a whole family reunion, bro.
Like this won't be made for another couple of years, so I don't think anybody's gonna remember it. But
you never know, man. We'll remember this. I was like, I've heard this kind of story before.
Yeah, you might have to edit that part out.
You know what?
But
spoiler alert! If you guys don't want to know any spoilers from here on out, we're almost at the end of the episode.
You finished the whole storyline.
Spoiler alert for the Miles Green franchise, a franchise that doesn't even exist yet. But yeah,
it's not about that. It's about the Invincible franchise and how you kind of you dropped a huge spoiler there.
Yeah,
regardless.
The Miles Green story sounds like. It sounds like Spider-Man and Harry Potter and Deadpool and all the best elements of our superhero movies, and then R-rated, which I think is really cool because we haven't seen like a franchise of superheroes that are R-rated, even though everyone wants, even though it's like huge.
Deadpool,
but it's not a franchise; it's just a movie, and there are 2 movies, but it's not like a whole.
Well, that's because it's less money, Ali.
Series.
You need to make more money.
I don't know. Deadpool made so much money, man. If anyone,
but that's because Deadpool.
Yeah, but the Avengers made even more because they can sell it to kids.
I think Deadpool can be sold to pre-teenagers, not kids, obviously.
No way, it's R-rated. It's not possible. There are restrictions to it. I mean,
this is a franchise that I've been working on for a couple months now. I'm really hopeful for it. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it come true. Like I said, it's a very grounded. The first one was very grounded. We expand upon the world, kind of like how Fast and Furious did, but not crazy. But like I said, the first film is very grounded. The villain is extremely relatable. Not relatable. Imagine if the Punisher became, oh God, how can I say it? Imagine if like the Punisher had a legit reason for killing so many people, but doing it for a completely different reason. So like the villain's name is.
Yeah, can you explain?
So the villain's name is Martin Hendricks. He was a Secret Service agent. He worked in the military, and he had a good life, wife, kids. Well, no, I'm sorry. He had a husband and kids.
Okay.
He had a great life. He was having dinner with his family, and he hears a knock at the door, and the son goes and answers the door. Dude's dressed in armor and guns and all that, and the reason why this happened is because Hendricks found out that the president was secretly killing off Secret Service agents or people who worked in the army that may have been a threat to his future plans. Oh, the president in the first film is corrupt. He's corrupt as hell. So the president felt as though Hendricks was a threat to like his future plans, like what he wanted to do, and Hendricks threatened to expose him. The president sends in his best operatives to kill his entire family, Hendricks included, and it ends with his entire home burning down. But Hendricks miraculously survived. But half of his face was burned. And this sets him on a path of vengeance and anger. He feels as though the people who he worked for betrayed him. So he became a gun-toting vigilante, taking out all of the people who basically, was associated with the president. It'll all end with him. Yeah, like he's out for revenge. He has a bloodlust for revenge, and it'll all end with the president. Now, he will come into conflict with Miles. The villain doesn't have any powers. So Miles is just discovering his powers. So Miles is like, you know what? I can fight you, but I won't kill you. When you have abilities that you get for the first time and you don't know what you're doing, you can kill somebody, So this villain and Miles, they're not connected, but they both have relatable tendencies, you know? So the villain is, like I said, very grounded, very, very rooted in reality, you know? So he's a villain. He's a different type of villain. He's a bad guy, obviously, because he's going around killing all these people. But when you actually watch it, you'll be like, okay, I understand why you're doing it. I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand.
Yeah, like Doc Ock a little bit. Those are my favorite. That's why I love Spider-Man and I love Batman, because their villains are the best. Like from like the Joker all the way to all the Spider-Man villains, they all have like such deep stories. And you kind of want to root for them. Like,
and there's so many of them.
Dr. Freeze, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is a character that you're not going to be rooting for, but like I said, when you watch him, you'll understand why he's doing what he's doing, you know. And then you'll be watching, and you'll be like, okay, yeah, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I understand, you know. And like I said, it's a very emotional film. I also forgot to mention, Myles is actually he was taken in. He was adopted by a part-time Secret Service agent, and she gets involved with Martin Hendrix's case. So that's going to cause some major problems because he has a secret identity. He's got to deal with bad guys. He's got to deal with superpowers, and I honestly believe it's going to be a really great film. I really do.
I really can't wait to hear it. Yeah, to see it.
Yeah.
Please send it to some to a production company that's will make it to a major motion picture. I want to watch it. I want to see this in action.
I'll buy tickets to watch this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be very grounded. It's got not a lot of. Honestly, I thought about it. I was like, this movie doesn't need a lot of CGI effects. You know, I like practical effects. It'll be very grounded in reality. But when the second film happens and like it'll move forward, that's when it's going to pick up. Because
honestly, all I'm thinking about is we got to be at the red carpet when this thing kicks off.
Yeah, you're actually the first people I've actually, well, not the first. You're one of the many people who I've told about it, who like actually listen and like are deeply invested in it.
Dude, I am. It's great. Here's why I'm deeply invested in it, right? Because it's made by you, right? It's not made by this huge company with a bunch of writers that have to come up with a genius shit like Endgame. No. It came by this one person, right? Whose brain in this whole situation is just very, very big, right? Like your whole depth and work into this is like, it shows. It really does show, right? That's what makes it even more. Yeah, it's very inspiring. That's what makes it even more investing worthy, I guess, right? More so than the fact that it's an amazing story you just told. But due to time constraints, we have gone over the time limit, right? We do have to wrap up. But yeah, dude, this hour went by very fast.
This was awesome. Thanks for that. Great. Thanks for your story. This is the first time a guest ever told us a story, and it was like really like we listened throughout, and it was
great. Yeah, honestly.
Like I said, thank you guys so much for having me. I can't wait to rewatch all of this and relive it and show my other friends. Hey guys, I'm kind of sort of famous now.
Hey, I mean, you know what? Yeah. Sure, we'll take it. It's
like
great.
I said, thank y'all so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Honestly, Myles, thank you, and thank you all for watching another episode of A2 the show. If you guys enjoyed this episode half as much as we enjoyed filming it for you, like, subscribe, share send it to all your friends.
A2 the show, the most international variety education.
And interact with us in the comments, please.
Yep, we read all our comments. Thank you very much, Myles, for coming on the show. Do you have anything you'd like to shout out or let the world know?
I want to say shout out to a lot of my every single one of my followers on my page, the Mighty Myles. I love and appreciate you all, and let's get me to 10K followers.
Let's do it. Yeah, it's the race to 10K, boys and girls. We'll leave a link to Myles's social media platform.
Yep,
in the bio. Peace, love, happiness, and we'll see you guys.